Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We once again thank God Almighty for allowing us to be in His presence this morning. The word of wisdom for today is love. The word of wisdom for today is love. Now, love is probably one of the most talked about topics in Christianity, in the Bible, in church in general. And God tells very specifically to Christians that if you want to reflect Him, if you want to be a Christian, you have to love. Because without love, what you do in life truly has no impact. The Bible teaches this about love, that love is a choice. Love is not something that you acquire alongside the road passively. Love is not something that is given to you. Love is a choice. Love is a commitment. You choose to love something, and you choose not to love something as well. Today, we've bought into this myth that love is uncontrollable and that it just happens to you. But that's not really the case. Love is something that is controlled, contrived. Love is something that takes years' time to nurture and to grow into something that can prolong, something that can be eternal. In fact, even the language we use implies that we can't control how we love. There's that saying, right? I fell in love. And that whole saying kind of gives the notion that, love is uncontrollable, that you were just walking along the side of the road and all of a sudden you just were filled up with love and now you just can't stop loving. But that's not what love is. What someone really means when they say that they fell in love is that they were attracted to someone, right? And it's very high level, but that's not what love is. Attraction and arousal is uncontrollable. Right? And sometimes we can't really control the feelings that we have inside, but attraction and arousal or lust are not love. They can lead to love, but they are not love. Love is a choice. During a wedding ceremony, for instance, a man and a woman, they will stand before each other and say their vows, right? And they say to the other person, I choose you above anybody else in the world, and I choose you for the rest of my life, okay? Now, choose is used in both scenarios. The husband chooses to love his wife. The wife chooses to love her husband. They make a public statement of their choice, of their commitment to each other. You can't force somebody to fall in love with you, and you can't force him or her to stay in love with you. Why? Because love is a choice. Love cannot be forced. And that is true of all relationships, especially your relationship with God. When you choose to love God, it is by choice, right? You do not fall in love with God. You do not become a Christian, the next day and just everything goes well for you. But rather, every single day is a commitment that you make to God to love Him by serving Him and by, reflecting your life according to Him. Deuteronomy 30:20 says, you can't make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying Him, and committing yourself firmly to Him. Just like in any other relationship, you must choose to love God. If that commitment is not in you, then you are not a follower of Jesus Christ. Simple as that. If you do not love God, if you are not committed in your relationship with Him, then you dare not call yourself a Christian. God isn't going to force you to love Him, okay? God is the God who gives you freedom of choice. There's evidence of His existence all around, and God has given every indication that He is very real and that He chooses to love His people. But He'll never force you to say, you must love me. You must accept salvation. But He offers it to you. So the only fault is that if you are not committed, it's yours for not choosing Him. God isn't going to force you to love Him. And, God says, if you want to love me, fine, I will love you. But if you choose not to love me, then you will face the consequences and, you will destroy your life because of it. God won't force you to love Him because God's love, your love, can't be forced. Love is a choice. So this morning, I want you all to really reconsider the commitment that you are making to God, every single day of your life, how much of a priority you are giving Him. If you say you are a Christian and you say that you love God, how committed are you to that relationship, right? Just like a husband and wife, let's say they talk once for 5 minutes every day. What kind of relationship is that? What kind of marriage is that? You can tell, as any person observing, that, their marriage is probably not good, or, they're probably having problems, or they're having disputes. Maybe they don't love each other as much as they should. But that's how it is with God, isn't it? We go to God 5 minutes every morning, say our prayers, and leave him out for the rest of our day. And we go on. Is that really a commitment? Is that really love? But then we get angry with God and say, God, you don't love me. You don't care about me. You don't answer my prayer requests. But we don't even give him the due diligence of a basic commitment in a relationship with him, right? How hypocritical are we? As humans, we understand that a man and a woman, when they get married, they talk to one another constantly. They are nurturing, they're encouraging one another, and that's the love, that's the commitment that they show towards one another. But when God comes to the picture, we can't give God a little bit more of our time and commit ourselves to him and to his service because we think that his relationship doesn't really matter, but he should always have your number one priority. And with that, may God bless this word.
Audio Jungle.